I can see you all. Like, I have a book called The Quick Six Fix, and there's like 26 different ingredients in front of me. Right, hi. This is like, we're coming to the end of the festival, which is kind of sad. I love coming here every year. I've been here about 3-4 years. What are you shouting? I'm doing something with Guinness. I am. That'll be the second part of the demo. Here we go. Right, two things. So, first thing we're going to talk about the book really quickly. The recipe is in the cookbook. I've switched it up a bit and I've added something to it. But you don't necessarily need to do the extra things I'm doing here today for the halibut and the succotash. That's loud, right? Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me okay? Okay, cool. So we're doing a halibut with a succotash. It really summery, like it's a spring kind of summer dish. Even though corn is not really in season right now, it will be soon. But the reason why this is in the book is that you can make all these recipes all year round. If it's seasonal, awesome, go buy it. But if it's not, like corn freezes really well, lima beans freeze really well. You know, like broccoli does, cauliflower does. There are some vegetables out there that freeze really well, and we can use them all year round. And I have no problem with that, because the whole point of why I did this book is so that everybody can cook super easily, and you can find all these recipes at a Trader Joe's, at a Ralph's, at a Whole Foods, at a Bristol Farms, at a Gelston. Like wherever you go, you'll know what these ingredients are. So let me get started first. And I added this part to the recipe. I was cooking for a client and I showed them the succotash and they're like, oh, that's awesome. It looks really like light and fresh. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, we'd love some kind of herbs, kind of relish with it, or herbs, kind of like a chimichurri or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool idea. So I kind of added this to it. And it's super, super easy. So you got the recipes in front of you too, so you can follow along. So we got some anchovy. Yeah, that's the anchovy. Okay, so I'm just gonna dunk everything into this. Okay, so we got anchovy, we got garlic. If you follow this, it doesn't go with the quick six from the book, right? With the relish part, because that's like a lot of ingredients. That's not 6 ingredients, okay? It's like 65. And of course, guys, any questions, just holler, shout at me, ask me anything about anything, and we can have fun. You know, I want you guys to learn stuff as well as we go through this. So I got we got some parsley here. 3/4 cup of parsley. The parsley, we got capers. I don't want to miss anything. I like to have the recipe right in front of me, as you always should when you're cooking. Have all your prep ready to go. And so it's just, you know, it just makes it easier. It's nicer. Some lemon zest. And this is a super bright relish. Lemon zest, we've got lemon juice. This is a lot, right? But you can make this and keep it in your fridge the day before. And you could do everything else bar the parsley. You would chop the parsley on the day of and you'd fold it into the rest of the ingredients. Because if you did the day before, it would get a bit like, you know, it would get a bit gray, a bit dark. It wouldn't be as bright and fresh for you. Lemon juice in, or olive oil, which I think is this one, right? What is it? Because everything's put here together. So I have to figure it out through just like visual. So it's canola oil, there's olive oil. We got a 1/2 cup olive oil in there. Mix that and some black pepper, and that's it. Do we have some pepper here? Here we go. Okay. And that is the relish right there, okay? So that's gonna be the topping for the halibut. Super easy. This would be great on salmon. It would be great on chicken. Your summer barbecues are just, you know, it's getting hot out there. You're going to be barbecuing quite soon. So that's just a nice little recipe that you can add to any kind of dish. Steak, I'm not so sure. I wouldn't add it to steak. So let me turn this on. It's getting hot. Okay, cool. So let's start on this succotash. It's bright, it's flavorful, it's light, and it's super easy. Really nice, easy recipe. That's the canola oil. So I got some canola oil here. Okay. I have a towel. Any chance? Right here. Got it. So what was your favorite thing about the festival so far? Was anybody at the luncheon on Friday and saw me in that ridiculous pink suit? Did you see it? Did you like it? Did you think I should have kept it? I don't know. I posted so they put me in a romper. Like a romper. Can we say that? R-O-M-P-E-R. And I posted it online. My parents were angry. They were like, what the hell are you wearing? We didn't bring you up like that. I'm like, small town in Ireland. They're like, you know what I mean? They're just like, so I took it down. I just didn't want to have to go through it, on the phone. Mom's actually 65 and dad's 67, and it's just, I get it. It's just I'd rather just take it down. But it was funny. I thought it was funny. You all liked it. When I went out on stage, and people were like, this is lit. This is cool. And so I had to go to the store to Mr. Turk styled me, right? Spatula or wooden spoon. Can I get a wooden spoon? Spatula, cooking utensils that you need as a chef? Anyone? I can use one of these. Okay, I can use this for right now. So I got an onion in there. So yes. So I went back to the store, and I brought everything back because I can't keep it. It's $2,000 worth of clothes. I had for any of you guys that were not there, I came out in a different outfit for every course of the meal, which was kind of cool. And I came out in this bright pink suit with a pink shirt, and it was kind of awesome. It was cool. I had to come out in that, and then I changed my pants and I took the jacket off, and then I was in shorts with a different pink shirt. It was pink, 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 pink all the way through. And I'd never been dressed for something like that before, so it was super fun to do. Chili flakes, some garlic, really simple. What is that? I think that belongs over here. That's not salt. It's baking powder. It's in the wrong end. It was meant to be over here for the cake. I was I know we're not baking this dish. I was like, what? And finally, then Zach Young had a version of my romper. So the two of us came out in the same outfit at the very end as a kind of a joke. And so I took all the clothes back yesterday, and I got back to my hotel, and the romper was in my wardrobe. Just stealing clothes. Just stealing. And nobody called me. I was and I text Susan, who styled me, and they didn't even know that it was gone. Super funny, but I have to drop it back today. I called them. I was hey, I'm not stealing your clothing. I don't think I would steal the romper. If there was anything I was going to steal, it would have been the pink suit, maybe, because that would have been kind of cool to always just have that. I wore the pink jacket that night at the chef's reception with a white t-shirt underneath. It's cool. I really liked it. I was okay, I might actually go back and buy this. Okay. So we got our onions, we got our garlic, we got our chili flakes, got our tomatoes in there. Working it along. What is this? I swear. It is, it's this. Is this I have butter here. Oh, I know what this is for. So it's for the greasing of the pan for the Guinness. It's the wrong side. But that confuses me. I'm did I put this in the recipe and I didn't add it? What? What's going on? Okay, cool. We got our corn. Again, if you can get it fresh, shuck it, cut it off the... thank you. And add it in. And what I do like to do, too, if I had a cast iron skillet, I would put the corn in the skillet and brown it up. I swear, I haven't been drinking. I promise you. I had 2 glasses of champagne at 9 o'clock this morning. Um, okay, so we're gonna add the corn in. Super simple though so far, right? Okay. As long as it's easy for you guys, I think that's all I care about. It'll always taste good. I shouldn't even have to worry about it tasting good. It'll always taste good. I promise you. So we got our... Okay. I'm going to get this on because we're going to start cooking our halibut. Okay. I have a non-stick pan. Just going to do a tiny bit of oil. Even though it's non-stick, I still like to use a tiny bit of oil, just so it penetrates the fish. Okay, so I got some beautiful halibut here. I got some paper towels. I'm going to pat it dry. I don't want any moisture on your fish or your chicken or your steak. You don't want any moisture because you want to get it nice and crispy. There's a lot of moisture on that, which is okay. Sometimes it comes like that when you buy it. I don't wash it. Just as good. Just pat it dry. All right. Yes. What do I use? I use canola oil because... Is this canola or olive oil? Okay, cool. I use canola because it has a higher smoke point, so I can saute with it. I don't use extra virgin olive oil, ever, cooking. Unless I'm... One second. There we go. I just wanted low. Okay, cool. I don't use extra virgin olive oil cooking unless I'm making like a tomato sauce. I'll use that because I'll put it on a low to medium heat so I won't burn it. Just salt here. Okay, great. Some salt. Right there. Let's get that on. Okay, so we got our halibut on. Yeah, a lot of people ask me that, and you know, my mom used to do that too. She would get extra virgin olive oil, and she's like, I bought olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. I'm so good. I spent $35 on it. I'm like, okay, that's great. You're burning the crap out of it on the stove. And then the kitchen would smell like rancid, like oil. And I'm like, now it's... I've read that it's actually bad for you if you burn extra virgin olive oil. It becomes toxic. And I don't know how much of that is true, but you know what? I don't want to take the chance. But yeah, use like an oil like avocado oil, grapeseed oil, canola oil. Olive oil is fine without the extra virgin, and yeah, just have like your two oils. Extra virgin olive oil for your dressing, your finishing your dish, and so forth. Who here already knows that? Just a show of hands. Who thought it was okay to cook with extra virgin olive oil, like sautéing and stuff like that? A few of you guys did. Okay, so just use your extra virgin olive oil for dressings and for finishing your dishes, and you'll see. I'll do it. I don't actually have any extra virgin olive oil, but it's okay. So the succotash is done. Okay, just gonna turn that off. Now I have some cider vinegar here. Going to add that in. I have some basil chopped up. We're just going to fold that in for some brightness, some freshness. Like that. I love this. Okay. Let me check that out. Okay, great. All right, so anybody have any questions while I'm kind of finishing this up? Now is your time to speak. Yes. Yes, you could, and I'm going to think about that for a second. Do you know what you could do? Do you know what I think would be nice? You could do some cannellini beans. You could do some butter beans in there too, which would be nice. You could do a black bean. make it more kind of like a. You could use like Mexican flavors mixed in with this succotash if you wanted to. That's a good question. No one's ever asked me that before because some people don't like the texture of a lima bean. It's just a classical succotash is corn and lima beans. You have to have it in there. Okay. And then, sorry. Sorry, want to say that one more time? What if I have? So she asked, cooking the fish skin down or skin up. Is that what you said? So I think that's preference. If there was skin on that, I would do skin down first. Season that skin down first, get it nice and crispy. And what happens is the skin will lift away from the pan, and you'll flip it over, and you'll have a beautiful, crispy skin on top. I love crispy skin on a fish. It's just my personal favorite. Crispy salmon skin. I think it's just so buttery and fatty, and it's the only way I like to eat salmon. Okay. We're pretty good on that. Sorry, go ahead. I seasoned one side of it with salt and pepper. Okay, so we're going to plate up this and get this going. You guys are getting the halibut right now. All right. So I just like to do a man here at the side. Like this, okay? Right there. Do you have a spoon? Spoon. Can I just get like a spoon? Like a tablespoon or a dessert spoon? They're coming. How's it tasting? Easy, fresh, just nice little like bite with that the cider vinegar in there. You can get that vinegar punch in there too. You get that? Yeah, it's just because you have the corn in there, so it's quite sweet. It just like cuts it, the sweetness through, and you get a nice. I think you just get a nice little punch in the face from it. I'm kidding. Nobody punches you in the face, but I just like a bit of the acid from the. This is fine. This is fine. This is great. Thank you. And then what I'll do is just drizzle it there like that. Surround. Do a bit of this on top. Hit it with a tiny bit of salt at the very end. And we'll pretend this is extra virgin olive oil, okay? Right here. And just, okay. That is the first dish, okay? So as simple as that. Do they have it? Where do you want me to put it? Right there? There we go. Okay, cool. Pan-seared halibut. In the cookbook, it's a pan-seared cod. I swapped out the cod for the halibut. It's still a really nice fish. And just that relish. But look at the colors there. I like plating it at the side. You can do it in the middle too if you want. And that's it. Just super flavorful, super tasty, and easy. Again. Okay. So we move that over here. So now the next recipe. Guinness is a sponsor, so I wanted to do a dish that had some Guinness in it. And I was like, ooh, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? So my aunt taught me how to make this recipe. I grew up with her making this, and it's a really simple recipe to make. This is so much butter. Is this right? Let me have a look. Oh, yeah. So we've 1 cup of unsalted. So it's a cup of unsalted butter, Brown sugar. Okay. So I need a big bowl here. I wish I... Okay. So, okay, here we go. Sorry, guys. I'm just getting organized here for the next recipe. People are quiet. That's a good sign. People are enjoying it. Right? Okay. Okay. So I got a cup of butter in there, okay? That's not a cup. That's like a lot. It's like more. That's not a cup of butter. I know what. This is Derry's Guinness cake. My aunt was named Derry, and she would make this growing up for me, and she would send me across the street to the local pub to buy a bottle of this every single time. I need a bottle opener as well when you get a chance. It's right there. Okay, cool. So yeah, I was like 7 or 8 years of age. She would make this on a weekly basis. I just fell in love with it. I loved this cake so much, and it's not so like a spongy cake. It's more like a fruit cake that you would have at Christmas, but it's not as I like to say it, not as aggressive as a fruit cake that you would have at Christmas, because there's so much alcohol in fruit cake at Christmas. Like, you have one slice, you're wasted. Well, I know when my mom would make it, she would always be like, have a slice. I'm like, no, like, I'm like 10 years of age and there's so much alcohol in this. And I just don't like it. And then she'd be like, well, you like Derry's cake. And I'm like, yeah, but there's only like a tiny bit of Guinness in there, and it gives it like a nice caramely flavor, and there's brown sugar, and it just was like so tasty. And then we would put Kerrygold butter on it, and I would have it with a cup of tea. It's like an old lady, like, cup of tea in Ireland, like, with like a piece of Guinness cake. So when I say Guinness cake, people are thinking, oh, it's a Guinness chocolate cake, because that's what a lot of people make around St. Patrick's Day. And I see like these chocolate Guinness cakes with like a cream cheese frosting on top, and I'm like, no, my version of a Guinness cake has always been this. My aunt is no longer with us anymore, but I dedicated the cookbook to her, and I had to put the recipe, and I had to figure out where to get that recipe. And my other aunt in England, she sent it to me. She took a photograph with her phone. She sent it to me when I was writing the book, and I was like, I need that recipe. She's like, I don't know what it is. I think it's this. And she wrote down like on a piece of paper, and I'm like, this looks nothing like the recipe at all. And I was like, okay, how am I going to figure this out? I went to culinary school. I majored in pastry, and I was like, I should be able to figure this out. So I looked at a ton of different fruitcake recipes, and then I compared it to my aunt's recipe, and I was like, okay, this seems right. Let's take out a bit of this. Let's add a bit of this. And so we came up with this, and it's the closest thing possible to her recipe. I mean, it'll never be the same as the way she used to bake it. Like, honestly, it's just, I know maybe it's her oven. Some people have a certain touch when they're making things. You know, when you're grandparents and they've always made something and you want to replicate it, and it's so hard. It shouldn't be the same. That's correct. Yeah. And it was funny. They gave me a piece backstage, and it was like the flavor was still there, but I don't know what it is. I guess it's just, maybe it's the experience of eating it in her home, and it just comes out of the oven and it's slightly warm, and it's, you know, I miss her anyway, but she'll always live in this cookbook, so it's kind of fun, you know. And now I'll start crying. Great. So anyway, where are we at? So we are cake. We're making cake. We're making cake. Seriously. All right. So I'm trying to melt this butter here. What? This recipe is in the cookbook. It's at the back of the cookbook. It's called Derry's Guinness Cake. It's right here. The fish is in there too. So that's it. It's right there. It's a very, very simple recipe. It really is. And yeah. Anybody have any questions so far? No? It's a very quiet crowd. Are we having a good time? Are we drinking? Come on. I'm up here sweating bullets. So, okay. We got the butter nearly melted. It's taking a minute. But you're all going to taste this Guinness cake, and there's going to be butter on each little piece that you get. It's like a 2-bite, but it's worth it. All right, so with the butter, I'm going to put sugar in with the butter, okay? And we're just going to dissolve the sugar. It's nearly there. I mean, really, if you just kept boiling this, you'd make caramel. And just add some cream at the end. And but the combination of the stout with the brown sugar is just so good, and it just has this caramel effect to it. So about 8 ounces of Guinness in there. I'm telling you, it's lovely. It is. It's lovely. So, okay. Got the Guinness stout in there. We got golden raisins. We call them sultanas back at home when I lived there. And do we have that orange zest, Shaniqua? The orange zest? I don't see it right here. Okay. I could eat that whole tub right now. Oh, who uses Kerrygold? I absolutely love this butter growing up. I was talking with Antonia Lafaso yesterday, and she was telling me that Kerrygold was one of the first butters for grass-fed pasture. Yeah, I didn't know that. Even coming from there. Yeah. So we got 3 eggs. And this just all comes together like really fast. Got some bacon. A baking soda here. That's going to go in there with the flour. Just give that a mix. Then I'm going to add the eggs one by one in here, okay? Here we go. Perfect. Okay. So we got the zest in there. And now all we do is we add the mix to the flour, just like this. You gotta have the butter with it. You can't eat it on its own. And it's kind of like messy, as you can see, but it all comes together. How's it tasting? Like, what do you think? The butter is definitely needed with it, right? Now think about that in the morning with a cup of coffee. And then you're really home then with it. Seriously. And it's funny because I always, oh God, okay. So I speak to my mom and dad like once or twice a week, and they never make this anymore. They're just like, you know what? We can't make it the same that she used to make it. And well, when we would make it, when I would make it with my aunt, she would give me half the cake to take home. See, it's like dense as well. So you have to really get in there. And then, so I have a greased cake pan. There. Now this cake will bake in an oven at 350 degrees for about an hour to an hour and a half. You want to check it about an hour away in, because it's a very very moist cake. So you really just have to kind of get it in there and it'll rise up, and that's pretty good. And it comes out something like this. I'm going to cut into it because I have to, because, I mean, okay. And it's dense. You'll find that it's, and you see, it's slightly undercooked right there. I love that because it's still a bit moist in there and it's a tiny bit of a chew. I'm not going to kill you. And I just put it on like this. No, like I put a good bit of butter on there. Like you need a good bit of butter on there. It's just, it's so good. It's so good, everyone. And that is it. I'm telling you, it still takes me back to when I was 10 years of age. It still tastes the same. It has all those flavors. I remember hers would be a bit jaggedy on top. I think she would make it with like her hands. She would mold it. And she would get a fork and poke at it and get little spikes. And it was almost like a little crust on the top of it too. I mean, this one has a crust, but hers was like a denser crust. But look, we'll never know. But thank you so much. I'll be out signing some cookbooks if anybody wants to get one. If anyone has any questions for me, I'll be glad to answer them for you. And I hope to see you all next year. Thank you so much.